What is up, everybody? Former Glorday here. Listen, we have a huge patch to go over. This patch, version 1.2, comes out on Tuesday, November 19th. Tons to go through. Everyone's excited, so let's just jump right in. First things first, they have announced that they are bringing back Winterfest, this time with an even bigger reward track, both a free version and a paid version. So that's going to be the beginning of December. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Going to be amazing. Next thing to touch on, they are introducing the arcshot gateways in this patch, or the teleporters going from off lane to dual lane, vice versa. People excited about that, how it's going to impact split pushing in the meta in the game. We'll have to wait and see, but a lot of excitement around that. One of the biggest centerpieces of this patch that people are stoked for, the introduction of Yin. So Yin is a Paragon hero. She's one of the remaining Paragon heroes, but people are very excited that she's on her way back. In Paragon, she operated a little bit more of a jungler ADC hybrid, as they've stated here. I'm not super convinced that she will translate over into Predecessor in that way. We'll have to wait and see how she hits with the meta. I see her a little bit maybe more as jungler and off lane. It's just going to kind of depend on how the meta shakes out. There's a lot of hero changes on this patch, a lot of item changes on this patch, so we'll have to wait and see. Regarding Yin specifically, they give us her stat line here. Couple things to point out: her basic attack range is pretty good. That's pretty long. That's up with the likes of marksman, so it's longer than most melee combatants going to be using her whip, so that makes sense. Her attack speed is good. Yeah, so basic stats, nothing else really to write home about, but that attack range is going to be good. Going to give her an edge over some of the melee matchups. Her whole theme is based around using this whip weapon and manipulating the wind to her benefit. So her passive is a stacking attack speed buff, so the more times you auto attack, the faster your attack speed will get. Her primary, lash kick, this is her main engage tool. So she basically jumps to an enemy, and then the game's going to wait for a secondary input from you: forward, back, left, right. If you're on a mouse, you may have some more directional options, but after you reach your enemy, you will then select an area or a direction to jump off of your enemy. You choose, let's say you choose forward, you will knock your enemy backward. You choose left, you will knock your enemy right. You choose right, you'll knock your enemy left. You get it. And this is going to be a good engage tool or re-engage tool if you manage to get onto your enemy without using your lash kick. Junglers, this would be a great opportunity for you to leap out from behind fog and engage on your enemy. So her secondary ability, Wind Burn, this is going to be your clear ability, your clearing tool. So you'll use this, it adds cleave to your basic attacks as well as increasing your basic attack range. So she will use this on jungle camps, she'll use this on waves if she's in the off lane. This is your main clear tool. Backlash, this is a really interesting ability. I was wondering if they would change this when they brought her over to Predecessor. They haven't really, which I'm fine with that decision. I think it's a really cool and unique ability. Essentially, when someone throws a projectile at her, we're thinking Rampage Boulder, the likes, basically she can redirect that projectile back at someone who has thrown it, right? What I'm interested to see and what I believe happens is, does the effect of what's being thrown at her happen to then happen to the enemy? So Rampage Boulder, does she stun the rampage? Should she throw it back? I think the answer is probably yes, but I think that's really cool. Gives some cool outplay potential. Her ultimate is it works with good synergy with Backlash. Essentially, she, all the way around her, she basically slows all projectiles that are on the way. They're halted. So we think that in the video that they release is a very cool moment where Twin Blast's ult completely stalls out inside of her ultimate, quelling Gale. But they have stated that you'll be able to pair that with Backlash. So when you halt projectiles with your ult, you can then use Backlash to throw them back at an enemy, making it a little bit easier to execute, but also adding some strategy as to when you might Backlash a projectile. So very cool. People are very excited about her. She's going to shake up the meta for sure. introducing her with a uncommon skin, changes up her color scheme a little bit. Very cool. In this patch, they're also introducing a line of Wasteland skins. Chimera getting the rare skin. These skins are very, very cool. Very Mad Max like. Love the theme, love the color scheme. Everything's great here. Grim EXEs getting an uncommon. Love the bullseye pattern on the head there. Kalari getting an uncommon, and then Twin Blast getting a common. So very cool. Of course, they're going to come with bundles and some other bundles being added. Wasteland Mega Bundle. But these skins are very cool. Super impressed with the art team over at Predecessor. They have been working super hard and doing some awesome things in the game. Next thing we to mention, just really briefly, they are adding extras, things that were previously only in bundles. They are re-releasing back into the store for purchase with Amber, but also Platinum. So check that out. Some variants. You can purchase variants that were previously in a bundle only if you own the base skin from that bundle. So cool things there. We're getting an emote wheel, and above an overhead emote wheel, so you can start memeing on everybody that you stomp and tilt them even more quickly. So that's very cool. You guys can check that video out and see how that works, but it's going to be very cool. Rank mode, they are getting rid of a promotional game within division. So if you're going from gold 3 to gold 2, you no longer have to play a match. If you're sitting there at 100, you don't have to wait to win a match to go from gold 3 to gold 2, platinum 3 to platinum 2, whatever, right? There are still promotional matches between divisions. So if you're going from bronze to silver, silver to gold, you will still have to play and win a promotional match before you can get up into the next tier. We already mentioned that they're introducing arcshot gateways. People are very excited about that and kind of how it's going to hit the meta. Not much else to talk about. If you guys want to see the mechanic breakdown, I'll let you go and take a look at that. But in a nutshell, the gateways have a charge time. You have to be standing uncontested on the gateway for a certain amount of time. Excuse me. It's a 2.5 second charge up time, 4 seconds to travel. So we're looking at 6.5 seconds for travel. If it's contested, though, that time stops. You should read the breakdown of the mechanics. It's really very cool. They're also introducing they're going to remove the ledge in the Fangtooth and the Orb Prime pit, as well as lower the wall in the middle of the blocking the opening. So it adds visibility, adds outplay potential, new strategizing as far as launching abilities in and being able to see how far along a team is on these objectives so that you can kind of strategize about when you want to jump in. They're trying to work on AFK. We'll see. Letting you know if a person that you reported, got penalized. Going back to their roots with their menu here, adding a match history, which is great, so you can see how many times you've been losing. Yeah, some other things you guys can take a look at. Adding leaderboards. So if you're in the top 500, you will see yourself there. This is something I'm very excited about. They are adding draft purchasing. So if you really wanted to buy a hero and you wanted to grief your team by first timing and ranked, now you can. Or if there's a skin that you really wanted to spend your paycheck on, you can do that. They added a little tone when the match is found. It's a nice quality of life change, I think. If you're away from your computer while you're in queue, now you'll know. We're increasing basic attack projectile speed, as you can see right here. This is a cool change, I think. Buff transfers. Interesting that they didn't just refresh the time entirely. They just give you 45 seconds if it's a transferred buff. Is what it is. Very excited about the enhanced river bugs. They're coming after 21 minutes, but I think that's really a great change. They're pretty beefy, so I think many people are going to be surprised going from, by the time you're at 21 minutes, a lot of people are taking out river bugs in one auto attack. So people are going to be surprised, I think, how much health they're adding them and how much damage you can take from these bugs. You guys can take a look at the other improvements. It's mostly quality of life. As we mentioned earlier, Winterfest coming back December 3rd. They're going to have a battle pass, free version, and a paid version. New round of Twitch drops. Look out for those. Okay, so I'm really excited to get into the hero balance changes because there's a lot of changes in this patch, and I think it's going to really positively impact the meta. So first up, we have Decker. Decker is a support that is difficult to punish, and they believe it's difficult for trades to stick. So what they've done is they've lowered her health regen a little bit by 0.3, and they believe that she's outperforming other mages, kind of support control mages, with if you max Photon Disruptor, her line ability, they believe that she pushes too easily and without punishment, and that she's outperforming. So they're gonna swap up the damage from flat damage to scaling damage, so that'll be a little bit more manageable early, but it'll still help you out later. So a little weaker in the beginning, better later. So small nerf to Decker. Trades should stick a little bit better. You should push against her a little easier. Feng Mao, they're giving him some changes because they are nerfing some of his items. They don't want him to fall off too much. So they're lowering his cooldown of his hamstring. That's pretty much it. You might have some more favorable trades in the off lane, and you might, get a faster clear coming through the jungle, but for the most part, that's about it for him. Gideon's changes are pretty good. So they're basically realizing that Gideon runs out of mana pretty quickly. So they're lowering the mana cost on his Rift, on his Void Breach, and they are giving him a little bit more damage on his Cosmic Rift as well. So more damage, always a good improvement. I think Gideon players are going to really enjoy that. But one of the big things that they're doing, which is previously fixed and then was reintroduced as a bug again, you're supposed to have 10 instances of damage on Gideon's ultimate, but there's been an issue where there's only been 9, and they have identified that that's been happening again, so they're fixing that. It'll go back to 10 instances. So thus far, it's only been doing 90% of the expected damage. So Gideon enjoyers, rejoice. Your ultimate goes back to what it's supposed to. So when you jump in there and sacrifice yourself with that ult, maybe you get the kill this time. Okay, Howitzer is getting a little bit of a buff, so he'll have some damage increased to his slow grenades, and he'll have some damage increased to his ultimate. Again, more damage, always great. People are probably gonna love that one. Maybe get Howitzer up in the curve a bit. Kira just getting a projectile speed on her alternate ability. It's a basic attack style ability, so that's nice. Maybe it'll be a little bit less dodgeable, or guaranteed to hit. Belica's getting some changes that I am pretty excited about. As a Belica enjoyer myself, she's going to be in a pretty strong position. So they are lowering her cooldown on her Seismic Assault down a second at max rank, which is pretty good. And Void Bomb is getting some good changes as well. Damage is going up, scaling is going up, innovation scaling is going up, and cooldown is reducing. So it's going to help with that early wave clear, maybe get you a push going in lane, and get you that level 2 spike before your enemy laner. So good changes coming to Belica. They're realizing that Narbash enjoyers are able to sit back a little bit too much without any outplay and any punishment. So they're lowering the healing from Song of My People, and making it to where he can't just sit back and enjoy quite so much. So it's not a huge change, but it's enough to kind of push him into some more interaction, which I think honestly is a healthy change and people should be happy. Richter's getting a change that I think is going to shake up his presence in the meta a good bit. His riot change is going from 8 seconds to 10. So a 2-second increase. That's time you've got to go not taking any instance of damage. So this is going to push him out of the wave as he waits to get his riot shield back. Maybe it's not going to be as impactful as I'm thinking, but I think we're going to see less play from him with this. I mean, of course, he's not getting any other changes to his other abilities, but that riot shield really allows him to get a significant number of free trades, basically, and that's going to happen less now. Sparrow's just getting some projectile speed increases similar to Kira. Steel changes are interesting because all in all, you're really only seeing like a 1 second increase on cooldown to his shield wall, so it's not that significant, but maybe they'll realize that he could do with some more. Essentially what they've done is, it used to be that the shield wall cooldown started as soon as you use the ability, but we know the shield wall stays there for some time, right? So now the cooldown begins when the ability so now the cooldown begins at the end of the ability, as opposed to when you start the ability. It shakes out to about a 1 second increase in cooldown, and then he's getting some health decrease, but health regen increase. So Twin Blast is getting a little bit of a nerf. I don't think it's going to be too significant, but we'll see. So damage decreased on his vaporize, but projectile speed increased, and then the ult damage is going down by 1 point per level. He shoots like 40 something, I think it's like 45 times in his ult or something. I don't remember exactly what it is, but so you're losing 45 damage, so that's not that bad. Wraith is getting a nerf. They tried to kind of sugarcoat it by giving you additional vision range with his passive, but you're losing scaling on 2 abilities with him, so that's just a straight up nerf for him. I mean, the vision's cool and all, but I mean, that's not going to help you secure kills or, get your own solo kills. So Zinx is getting changes that I personally am thrilled by, because I hate playing into her. I think she's very oppressive, and I think she's oppressive for free, basically. So they're increasing her basic attack time. They are decreasing the damage on her infuse or her heal, and they're decreasing the scaling on that as well. What I'm most excited about is they are increasing the cooldown on her ultimate by 15 seconds at all ranks, which is, I think, a great change, because her ultimate is annoying, difficult to deal with, and that's going to be a good change. So that's it for hero changes. Let's move on to the item changes. So first up, we have crests and Razorback. This crest rather, is very effective. It's borderline honestly overpowered. So they are reducing damage reflection from 15 to 12%. I think that's a good change. Time flux band. This is a nice change. So they're basically making it to where whenever you blast through your ability cycle twice, basically, because you get all of your abilities back, right? They're going to refund you some of that mana. It is missing mana. It is not max mana. So you're not going to get as much benefit as you could if they would have done max mana, but it's still nice, right? Because you're going to get some of that back when you use it during the active. Okay, carry items. We have Ashbringer up first. This item still is honestly bad. So they're trying to give it some attack speed, but this item's bad. So I don't think anybody's really going to use it. As I say here, you can maybe 1-2 pairing with other items. Maybe. I think this item's honestly just not very good. Onyxian Quiver, sure, that's fine. Multi-shot projectile speeds up. Solaris, I think it's a good change overall. You're seeing 100 less gold for the item and a little bit of haste. You might get pick this up first buy, second buy. I think overall, I think it helps the item. I don't think it's the best item in the world. Spectra, okay, so they're increasing the cost of this, they're decreasing the haste, and they're decreasing the slow. It's still a solid item. I don't think that you're gonna, like, a 50% down to 40% slow, you're still gonna be able to chase people down, you're still gonna be able to get them, wipe them off. I think this is a good item still. Assassin items, Nightfall, I just feel like they really want you to use it. Painweaver, I think this is a good correction, because they had a previous change to Painweaver that removed some move speed. So adding some flat movement speed back onto the item, I think, is going to be super helpful. I think you'll see more people using that. Perforator is getting physical pin decreased and puncture physical armor pin increased. This is I think it's like a minimal impact change. You'll see most of the impact on obviously health stacking people. Armor stacking people, but for people who have low armor and are squishy, I mean, you're not really going to see any sort of change with that. So Berserker's Axe, you're getting 1% move speed. Okay, that's fine. Bonesaw, I think this item is really strong. There's a lot of Bonesaw builds going out there right now, so I think it's warranted to drop the physical power down 5. Mutilator, this is a decent change. It's just 100 gold less. You may see some benefits on that and offlane some jungle builds. That's fine. I mean, it's niche, right? You want to build that into tanks, so is what it is. Salvation is getting 50 less health. That's fine. Moving on to mage items, Noxia. So I don't really like Noxia all that much, honestly. I think that it doesn't give you enough as an item. The magic power is increased from 80 to 85, but I don't think the item gives you enough already. So I don't think it's a very good item. That's it. That's what I think. Oathkeeper. Oathkeeper is getting a damage increase from 50 to 55. Just a small buff. That's fine. Overseer, this is getting a nerf. This, I think, is warranted. This item's really strong, so it's going to cost a little more, a little bit less life steal. I think this is a strong item, so that makes sense. Soul Bearer, they used the wrong title and image. This is supposed to be Soul Binder, and it's getting a magical power increase by 5. I think that is wild because this item's already pretty good. You're getting haste, you're getting mana, and now you're getting more magical power. Good item. Spirit of Amir, this item is getting, it's mostly more of like it's like a change, not so much buff or nerf really. I guess it's technically a little bit of a nerf, but it's really just mostly a change. They're adding some health to it and they're dropping its damage in its pin. Time Warp is coming down 100. Okay, I mean, I think with the changes to Soulbinder and the item already being good, you could build that instead. Wraith Leggings, this is crazy because this item's already very strong. So they're increasing its magical power from 90 to 95. Build it before they nerf it. It's a strong item. Honestly, I think that mages are going to be in a really great spot in this patch. We're going to talk about it in a second, but they're changing tank items. They've given Gideon a buff. Howie got a little bit of a nerf. Bellica got the buff. Honestly, I think mages are going to be in a good spot this patch, but we'll see how it shakes out. Tanks, Elefrost is getting a Frostblade damage reduction from 50 to 40. That's fine. Frost Guard, magical armor increase. Okay. Raiment of Renewal is seeing a health decrease. I think this is fine, and they even talk about why, because a lot of supports will buy this first item and then you literally just can't kill them because they just stand there with a million health. This is the beginning of a change that we're going to see to multiple items on this patch. So they basically are deciding to decrease how much health some items are providing and put more focus on resistances over just health stacking. So Stonewall, you're seeing health come down 100, but you're getting 50 more physical armor, right? Tainted Bastion, you're seeing health come down 50, health regen up 5%. So that's not necessarily a resistance, but you'll get the picture as we keep going through. Like this item here, Unbroken Will, health decrease significantly, 175 health down, magical armor up 10. So, and then of course the cost drop, but it's only 50 gold. So they're just trying to push people away from just stacking up health and give them some resistances instead. There's a couple of things happening in Brawl and some bug fixes there. Overall, this is a huge patch, so let me know what you guys are excited about in the comments. Which hero are you excited to play? Which items are you excited to use? Is this going to be the time for mages to shine?